Hi, I'm Carol Wilson, Editor-at-Large for Light Reading, and I'm here with Bill Walker, the Director of Network Architecture for CenturyLink. Welcome, Bill.
Thanks, Carol.
So you just gave a great presentation here at NFVSDN event talking about the whole digital transformation process, and you shared some of the things that you thought were key, and I want to hit on a couple of those things with you if I can. You talked about the notion that training is not enough. You can't just send, we talk a lot about the need to retrain, but that's not enough. What do you mean by that?
So if we send somebody with 30 years of network experience out for a week of cloud training,
right,
then they're not going to remember it or apply it when they get back. And individual technologies that are not applied, you forget.
Right.
So it's actually a cultural change that you have to build teams with similar and disparate skills,
right,
and let them work together to deliver something. And the guys with 30 years of network experience can learn how cloud applies, and the cloud guys can learn how networks are built.
But you're learning that more or less on the job as opposed to learning it at a separate training process?
Oh, training's great. Training gives you the foundation that you can deliver on day one and ask the right questions.
Okay.
But then interacting and using that skill every day
okay.
reinforces it and creates a new kind of merged view of what the architecture and the implementation is going to be.
Okay. You also talked a bit about the notion that in this constant state of iteration that we talk about with DevOps and Agile, yes, that you basically burn people out if you don't take the time to pause and celebrate. What do you mean by that?
So and the important part of that is actually reuse. So we need to stop and actually take an inventory of what we've done, be able to reuse it and celebrate the success, but allow the people to stop and say, what did we build? So at this point, we have delivered some set of value.
Right.
And now we can look at what the future state is going to be. So what additional features and what additional capabilities we want to build into the product.
But then you declare that, okay, this was release 1?
It's artificial. It's a totally arbitrary date where you decide that what the scrums have delivered up till this point are 1.0. And it's an arbitrary, it used to be an official thing of a set of features you had to deliver.
Right.
But at this point, you just have to declare success and celebrate the people and the accomplishments.
Okay, and then the other thing you said, and I've heard a lot, I've always been a little annoyed by the notion of fast failure, because it seems to imply that you're trying to fail. But you talked instead about fast pivot.
Yes.
Why is that important?
The vision and the architecture and the end state that you're trying to deliver is still valid.
Okay.
But maybe your approach or one technology or one theory that you had as you were building it is wrong.
Okay.
So rather than focusing on that and getting tunnel vision on solving that roadblock, maybe there's another way around. So still delivering the final functionality. The functionality didn't fail, the project didn't fail, but one particular thread of it did, or it was the wrong choice.
Okay.
Being able to recognize that and take a different path early can save millions of dollars worth of tunnel vision trying to engineer your way through a brick wall.
Okay. And last topic, and we're going to have to do a condensed version of this, but yesterday when you were at the Intel Network Builders Summit, you talked a lot about the notion that just changing COs into data centers isn't as easy as it sounds. It can be expensive, it can be time consuming. Give me 30 seconds of that.
Sure, every single building's different. And there's certain COs where it's an easy thing, where there's already an IT space where we run video services and I can put another rack of gear for a different purpose. There are some COs and some of our wiring centers that are 100-year-old buildings with water sprinklers, and they're not IT-friendly environments. So when we build out, it's like building a new data center. You have to worry about UPS, you have to worry about generator, you have to worry about floor loading, and it becomes a construction project.
Okay.
And just being aware of that up front and deciding which direction to go, again, gives you a pivot point.
Okay, and you mentioned, I think, the notion, you put something on the roof, or you put something alongside,
exactly,
as opposed to trying to put it in that building.
The building can't move, but you have outside space.
Okay.
And companies have been doing outside enclosures, companies have been doing on roofs. We used to have crypts where we put phone switch equipment outside, and we need to revisit some of that outside the regulated space, whether that's on the roof, in the parking lot, underground, in a parking garage, across the street.
Okay.
It could all be the right answer.
In 20 seconds or less, why is it important to put IT gear in all those bizarre places?
To redistribute the workload. So as the control plane and some of the services are actually software elements, redistributing them around the network and then replumbing the services together saves us from buying or getting locked into the black box architecture of this goes in a CO.
Okay, and that also allows you then to support distribution of content and change the way that content stays local as opposed to consuming all your fiber across the country?
Content and services that are distributed globally shouldn't be centralized.
Okay.
So distributing the content and the media across the network actually lets it be local to the consumer, if that makes the most sense.
Okay. Thanks a lot for being here.
Thank you, Carol.